Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. It's the final day of the week. We're going to close it out as we usually do with a creator request, which is where a band hits me up and wants me to check out their music. Today's comes at us from a band called Saiga Antelope. It says they're a progressive art rock duo from Norway, and they would love for me to react to one of their songs. They say I'm usually really insightful and I have interesting thoughts, and it'd be awesome to hear what I think about their music. The two songs they allowed me to choose from is Ghost of Narcissus and Circadian Rhythm. Both are from their debut album, The Grand Endeavor. So I did as I usually do when I need to pick something. I left it up to chance. We got Ghost of Narcissus. Ignore Discord. We have Ghost of Narcissus today from Saiga Antelope. Let's see what's going on. Interesting. We're dancing around 10 beat phrases and 12 beat phrases. Interesting. Dissolve a lot of that energy and tension that we had there.
My thoughts wander off to a distant
Beautiful voice.
place. There's fear deep inside that I cannot face.
I'm feeling this in a triplet feel.
Searching for redemption, a fleeting glance of light. I want you to stay for the rest of the night. It indicates a fallout. It leaves us all behind.
Beautiful writing.
I've been so alone since the day she
Using the synth crescendo to fill in some of the space that it really needed to continue to build from here.
Searching for redemption, a fleeting
Loving that bass work there.
I want you to stay for the rest of your life. Grant me your acceptance until the day I die.
Interesting. So we were doing like a 6/8 thing, and I think we had a bar of 8/8 before moving into this. We just had a little hesitation. It felt like moving into this next section. And we're back to this jumping that back and forth between 10 and 12. I wonder if this is an 11/8 though. 10 and 12 doing it 12 and then 10 would be two bars of 11. Yeah, really bringing in some of those menacing vibes here. Actually, an 11/8 would explain that hesitance moving into what would be the fourth bar, I think, of the phrase. interesting how much distortion they've added in, being a drastic departure from the clean piano, clean vocals that we had at the beginning. Yeah, a little bit of change up here. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of jazz influence here. Primarily bebop in this piano solo. The fact that it's kind of telling a story by not really telling a story. It's really kind of doing its own thing. Yeah, really starting to play around with tonality too. Introducing a lot of chaos, dissonance. The mix is very flat right here though. I feel like this section should have a lot more energy than it does. But I'm really loving the intention here. Yeah, we had that droning coming in that made it sound like it was getting louder, but watching the visualization it wasn't. And I think just having some true volume dynamics there might have helped a lot. At least what I said was feeling a bit flat. Yeah, bringing back this motif. Yeah, bringing back the whole motif actually. This is the opening piano part too after the initial 11/8 section. Ooh. Little variation in the key there.
My redemption, a fleeting glance of light. The dark strayed away from my subconscious mind. It indicates a notion of something yet to come. Oh, oh.
Yeah, really beautiful layering here, right, too. Bringing us to the finale here. It's interesting to see how they built this section twice in two different ways. Also, I'd say that the way that they layered this version has a lot more brightness, optimism to it than the previous one, which led us into the bebop section. Yeah, some beautiful staggered vocal harmonies there. I'm really liking the spacing of the vocals there as well. Interesting way to end it. I had this a little bit of an idea based on the song structure. Oh man, I think it goes into another track. That will never not disappoint me doing these reactions when I hear a song obviously move into the next section, and then I don't get a chance to listen to it because of the structure of this format. Although I am in complete control of the structure of this format. I suppose I could change it and do whatever I want with it, but today we're gonna stop it short. Um, yeah, so I thought it was interesting that the song can kind of be split into a single idea, and we see two variations on it. So we start off the song with that 11/8 idea, then we move into the piano and vocals, and then the song splits, it diverges, sort of like a repeated section in sheet music where we have an ending one and an ending two. In ending one, we move into the bebop guitar, the bebop piano solo that moves into sort of the free jazz idea, utilizing dissonance and non-harmony. What is that word I want? Uh, Discord, introducing a lot of entropy into the music. And then we go back to the beginning of the song. We return to the 11/8 idea. We move back into the piano and clean vocals concept, which is a repeat of the beginning almost in its entirety. But now we go to ending two, which sees an evolution of this concept in a different idea. And I really like this concept. We got to see how they took this core idea and brought it into more of a darker, more chaotic place, and then how we got to see them move it into a more brighter, happier, upbeat section, while still seeing their ability to layer a ton of information, a ton of music into these sections. Whether it is the chaos that we saw in the free jazz section or the beauty that we saw in the ending, we saw a ton of layering in both of them that created those atmospheres. So they got to showcase their skill set within two different vibes within the same song, and they got to do it in a bit of a classy way by using multiple endings and a repeat section. However, then we get the ending, and the ending is a bit of a callback to sort of the dissonance that we saw at the end of the first ending, and then it calls back some chord progressions from the intro of the song, and I suppose it works in the larger picture, but I really wish they would have ended it with the with that brighter, ultra layered, beautiful, multiple vocal harmony idea that they had going there, around the 8.5 minute mark, I would say. But that's just personal taste. Maybe there is something in the lyrics, or maybe there's something to this Ghost of Narcissus. Narcissus? That's a weird word that the C and the S both make the same sound. Anyways, maybe there's something about that. Maybe it alludes to some sort of myth that I don't have the context to, and the events of the song make more sense in relationship to something else. Maybe the lyrics, maybe whatever myth this might be from. There is some context that I'm possibly missing that explains the endings to the track. But at least in the context of the music alone, I think it works. But I do really wish they had just ended it there. Lots of really great stuff in here, though. Beautiful vocal work. everywhere, whether it's the solo vocalist or the harmonized vocals. Just really gorgeous stuff. I love the mix of the higher and the lower. I think it was about an octave lower when the second vocalist came in the second ending. Just really warm vocals from both of them, full powered chest vocals. They both felt very natural and relaxed, and they just go together so well. I think the two voices mix very well. Um, Beautiful playing throughout. There's some really, really great melody lines in here. Uh, and it's interesting because, I mean, I picked the song at random. I have no idea what the other track sounds like. Circadian Rhythm. But I think this is a perfect song, at least for a first time listen, because it showcases so much of their skill set. I mentioned that it showcases their ability to layer multiple ideas and to utilize the layers to create dissonance and cacophony or harmony and cohesion. They showcase both of those skills while also showcasing their ability to layer. But they also showcase their ability to write heavily rhythmic elements, heavily melodic elements, beautiful melodies, unsettling time signatures. This song is a really good showcase of their skill set. And they might actually be skilled in other areas too. I'm not saying that this song is a perfect representation of their abilities as composers and musicians, but that just hearing this song alone, I can already see that they're extremely skillful people, the two musicians and composers here. It's just, part of me wants to say I lucked out and picked the right one, but there's also part of me that says, Circadian Rhythm's probably just as good. So I'm definitely gonna have to check out more from Saiga Antelope, just because this is done so well. It is so many skills, utilized in such great ways to showcase so many aspects of their writing. It is, I don't know. It's just a perfect showcase. It really is. It's already got me interested. Um, yeah, that rhythmic stuff at the beginning though. Uh, I really hope one of the band members or both of the band members is watching this. They can hit me up in the comments and let me know. Was I right about that 11/8 section? I was counting groups of 10 and 12, and there was one moment when it doesn't line up. When the emphasized beat, when it feels like the passage is moving to the next one, was on beat 2 rather than beat 1 of the next bar, and I couldn't quite figure out what that was until I had said 11/8, and then that starts to put things in perspective. So I'm pretty sure it's in 11/8 where we have a shift. We have an early shift in one of the phrases where it's on beat 11 of the first bar rather than the downbeat of the next bar. Actually, now that I mention that, it fixes one of the transitions, but it messes up the other. I'm still confident it's 11/8. I think if I were to write it, it would be an 11/8. However, as I am kind of beginning to figure out, a lot of people write their music by feel. They noodle around, they play some stuff, and then they figure out what it would be on paper, and they tend to write time signatures based on melodic phrasing. So it would not surprise me to find out that they write this in alternating 10/8 and 12/8. I think that's a little bit more confusing, but I can see how people do find it to be clearer to them because you can see where the phrases begin and end rather than having a consistent time signature throughout. We do shift between that. We shift into a 4/4. And that 4/4 section, man, that piano and that clean vocal. And the thing is that they start to do a slow layer on it too. They have some panned, was it string crescendos in the right ear that slowly starts to fill out some of the space that the sparse piano and vocals are not filling in. And then we get a couple more things in there, and it's really about the nuance at that point. They filled it out at a really nice level, and it's really about just adding little pieces here and there to ornament what they're, the beauty that they've created. So yeah, that opening right there, we have some really interesting chords, interesting time signature, and then they get into some really beautiful, more standard playing. And that was really all I needed. I would have been I would have had a lot of praise for the band even just there. But then we move into the sort of bebop piano solo into the avant-garde free jazz dissonance element, and it's really interesting to listen to them create something so gorgeous there with the piano and vocals, evolve that into an even wider, gorgeous element, and hone that into pure chaos and allow it to just sort of fall apart. It is wild to watch that. Um, Oh man, I remember at the beginning I said I was intrigued by all the tension they were creating with that chord progression and the interesting time signature before moving into something a lot more subtle. I said it was an interesting way to start the song on high energy and then diffuse that energy to move into it. But you know what? Weirdly enough, it makes sense, especially the second time it comes around. Um, it doesn't thinking back on it, it doesn't feel it was definitely weird in the moment. I thought it was a very interesting choice to start at 10, not really do anything with it, just sort of lay down this interesting rhythmic idea and time signature and then to bring it back down. But in hindsight, it really wasn't that odd. It kind of worked for some reason. I think it's because of the repetition in the middle of the song. I'm getting ahead of myself anyways. So we get this piano solo. Starts out really nicely. I was like, yeah, it's kind of jazzy. We have some playing around with rhythmic elements, especially against the main rhythmic component behind it. And but then we start to really move into odd note choices, and the rhythms start to become even more disassociated with what's going on around it. I think it was in 4/4 at the time too, and it was just so fun to see this slow decomposition of the song. Just watch it slowly fall apart before. I think it was a pretty smooth transition too, going back to that 11/8 idea. Um, yeah, man, that's kind of wild now that I'm thinking back on that. Like, yeah, that was actually, if I remember correctly, that was pretty smoothly. At least I don't feel like I was pulled out moving back to it. I don't remember the exact transition, but I don't remember feeling odd about it. So it must have been somewhat cohesive. Uh, and yeah, just bringing back this whole idea, and then doing the second ending, taking that piano and vocal technique and evolving it in a different direction, but still utilizing those same tools of layering and understanding what elements they need to create a specific vibe. And it is just, like I said, it's really cool. I really enjoy that double ending idea. I just feel like we don't see it too often in music. If we were to write a lot of popular music on sheet paper, no. Well, yeah, you probably. I have so much stuff going in my head, and you're looking at this video. He's just saying no and yeah back and forth. I was gonna say you could probably use the repeat notation for verse and chorus, and then just put a second line of lyrics under that, and that would probably work for majority of stuff. So I suppose it's not as rare as I was going to talk about, but utilized in a more traditional fashion of multiple endings rather than just repeating a section. I don't feel like we do that too often in popular music, and it's cool to hear it here in what I would consider a more popular genre. I see this, they called it art rock, I think, progressive art rock. To me, I just hear this as progressive rock. There are some artsy elements to it. We see elements of classical and rock and jazz all kind of being incorporated in here. I can kind of see how that might, bring in the art. What's that word? Adjective. But to me, this is just prog rock. Not to diminish the art side, just saying that, prog rock is a very, very big genre, at least in my eyes. So I think it covers a lot of stuff, including this. But yeah, to see this idea being utilized in sort of a larger, more popular genre, pretty cool. pretty cool. Even if maybe that wasn't their intention, if that's not how they view it, if that's not how they might have written it, if they use sheet music, that's probably how I would have gone about it. Unless I'm missing something. I only had one chance to listen to it. I'm sure there's a possibility there was some nuance or some subtle changes that were actually different, and it couldn't actually use a repeating section with multiple endings because there were differences. But at least to my ears, they sounded very similar. Well, maybe the second time around they were shortened though, and that you would not be. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. The idea is there. um, so yeah, and then the ending was interesting. They brought back an earlier idea to end it on that utilized a very different atmosphere than what we were getting in that second ending, and I've already spoken my thoughts about that. Uh, the only thing that I would really add, I think on paper, everything here is solid. I don't think there's anything I would add, any sort of feedback or criticism. But there is something about the production that needs work. And as I've mentioned before, production is not my strong suit. I am currently a novice at it. I'm learning currently. Right now I'm learning how to mix and master music. But especially during that piano section, I felt like it just needed a kick of energy, and I'm not sure how to give it that. I mentioned volume. I wasn't looking at the volume bar too much at the first half of the song, but I noticed that pretty much throughout that entire piano solo, free jazz section, the volume was static. And the song sounded like it was getting louder, but it actually wasn't physically getting louder. And I wonder if having some real volume dynamics in the song might actually give that a little bit more punch. And then, maybe it's a simple EQ thing as well. I don't know. I've had some people look at my stuff and they're like, yeah, I just moved a couple EQ things around, and I'm like, wow, it sounds so much better. Uh, Engineering is at least to my novice eyes and ears, engineering looks to be a thing about subtle changes, changing the little things to make big effects. So it might even just be something small that can address that. But like I said, the music on paper is all solid. I loved every bit of this. This is where you guys come in though. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of Saiga Antelope's Ghost of Narcissus. Let me know if you enjoyed this or not. Anything that stuck out to you that maybe I didn't touch on. Let me know if you're going to be checking out more of their stuff. In the comments, no, in the description box, aside from my Linktree link that'll take you to a menu with everything related to the channel, I'll also include some links for Saiga Antelope if you'd like to check them out on social media or listen to any more of their music. And I think that's it. Above that, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I won't be back tomorrow, but I will be back Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC as usual. All right, until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.